Roger, and this is REAL EDC. So with YouTube, I'm about 7 or 8 videos in now. On Instagram, I've been working hard over the last 3 or 4 months to help to build my community. And long story short, I've been contacted by a handsome yet rugged young man from America named Mike Rogan of Mike Rogan Tools fame, or Rogan Tools. Full disclosure, before we go on any further, Mike hasn't paid me for this, and the product that we're about to look at was paid completely by myself. Now that that's out of the way, I'd like to introduce the Foreman by Rogan Tools. Now, what attracted me to this was the premise that this does quite a few different things. With this, you can do some of the things that you'd want to use this for. As a lot of you will probably notice, this is the Mora Knife Robust. Absolutely stunning, beautifully crafted knife for bushcraft. And the best thing about these Moras is not only the fact they're nice and cheap, but you can really go to town on these. But there are some things with this that really a knife isn't designed to do. Although these bushcraft knives have kind of gone beyond the boundaries of that. The perfect thing to do with a knife, as you're probably all aware, is to cut. To use a knife to cut things. But they're often used to dig, to batten, to pry, to hammer things. And that's where these two can work in unison. Rogan Tools promotes these for just that fact. All you need to do with this is cut things. You don't need to do anything else with it. With this, you can dig, you can pry, you can batten. I'm doing hand movements for each and every one of these. And you can also hammer things in to save your knife for what a knife should be used for, cutting. The rest of it can be used with this tool. Now, a few details around the tool first. This is made from carbon steel. Not stainless steel, but again, I'm not that bothered about that. Carbon steel is a lot stronger, but it's, you know, it will patina after some time, and I quite like that. I like my tools to look as though they've been used. This doesn't yet because I haven't done a review on that bad boy, but after some time you'll get a nice colour to this. I use a little bit of coconut oil on mine just to make sure that they don't get too bad or they don't rust too much. You get, I think there's 3 or 5 different colours for the paracord wrap that you can get on the end. There's a little lanyard hole. It does come with a little lanyard that you can use, so if you need to attach it to anything, you can do that. It's not a problem. Dimensions wise, from top to bottom is 7.25 inches, which is roughly 18.5 centimeters. Across the middle, it's 1 inch, which is approximately 2.5 centimeters. The width is 1/4 of an inch, which is about 5 or 6 millimeters. And as you can see, it is a chisel tool. The end, if that will pick it up, has got a taper to it. It's got a, if you can see that. And there is also a secondary bevel on this one. So this is the Foreman, which has 2 bevels. You have the chisel bevel at the end, and then you have a secondary bevel that is roughly 3 inches long, or 7.5 centimeters. So you can use this for lots of different things. There are different versions where there's just a chisel end and no bevel. There's one that looks a little bit more like a knife and has a belly to it. I really definitely recommend that you go and have a look at RoganUSA.com, and you can see all of the different ones there. So what I'm going to do now is something that I've not done with this. This is the first time I'm going to be documenting this. I've not tried it out beforehand. It does look a bit dirty. That's just because I've been doing stuff around and I've dropped it a few times. But I'm going to try, I'm going to dig, I'm going to pry, I'm going to batten, and I'm also going to hammer with this. And I'm going to see how it compares to the Mora. Let's get straight into it. So one of the things you can do with a Mora knife, if you're in an emergency situation, is to dig with it. To put this aside, can we do it with the Rogan tool? The answer is Yes, yeah, you really can. It's brilliant at it. I got it the wrong way around when I first started doing it. I was pushing, I'd got the secondary bezel facing forward, but I could punch in with the chisel end and I could draw back with the flat end, and it's really good. Hopefully you'll notice I spun it round and it became even easier to use. So if you were in a pinch, you could definitely dig with this. The second thing we mentioned was to batten. So I've got some wood that I've chopped, 2 pieces of wood so that we can test them against each other. One I'll batten with the morer, the other I'll batten with that afterwards. So as you know, splits through nice and easy. Now I've not done this before, but I'm guessing because this is a knife, you know, it cuts through, and as it cuts through, by the time it gets to the end, which you saw then, that's when the wood starts to split because of the thickness of the knife. This is more of a chisel. It's probably, I don't know, 1.5 times wider than it is than the morer. So the difference, again, before I even do this, is I'm guessing that it'll get part of the way through, and then once it gets past the actual edge here, it's just going to force it apart just from sheer brute strength. So let's try it. Look at that. Perfect. So there's the morer, there's the Rogan tool, and as I say, it started to split before I even got, say, 2 or 3 centimeters or an inch into it, because of its chisel-like features. When it pushes itself in, it just forces that wood straight open. I was really impressed with that. After that, we then got chisel. So can it be used? Well, it could definitely be used as a chisel. It wasn't chisel, it was for prying. Now, I've not done it like this before, but this will obviously show that it can pry as well. Let's bang this in. Yeah, perfect. So we definitely know it can chisel or pry, and we definitely know that we can batten with it. The last bit was to hammer. So using my morer knife, as I, perfectly should do, as a knife, I've cut a quick peg. Normally you'd maybe use a piece of wood for this, but if you hadn't randomly got a piece of wood and you'd still got your tool with you, you can hammer it in. Now, as we would have it, unfortunately I've been here a bit too long today, so the sun's starting to go down. But just to wrap up, this does exactly what it says on the tin. You can go out with your knife and you can use your knife just as you're supposed to use it, for cutting things. With this, I can dig, I can pry, I can batten, and I can also hammer with it. It really is a great little tool. I definitely recommend these. These are great, and this is going to become part of my EDC. Couple of little things to point out as well before we do go is, with it being 1 inch wide, it is molle compatible. The cutting edge, if you were to call it a cutting edge, I know that's what we'd say in more knife terms, but both of the bezels, when they come to a point, it doesn't come to a point that cuts. It's sufficient enough that you can pry and you can batten with this, but if you're worried that keeping this in your molle system on a rucksack or a backpack is going to damage that, it's not. This is, it's not going to cut. It's not abrasive at all. On the website, as I mentioned before, there are lots of different versions of these. There are smaller ones, larger ones, lots of different types, and I definitely wholeheartedly recommend you go out and check out RoganUSA.com. There's also some extra things on there that you can buy. You can buy extra D-rings, and you can also get extra S-beaners. These are night eyes S-beaners, which I'm definitely going to do more videos on in the future. Love night eyes. Yeah, I think we should probably wrap up there. The sun is really starting to go in now. Last little things to touch on. Thank you. As I say at the beginning of the video, I'm now about 7 or 8 videos in, and the feedback that I've been getting, the fact that I'm now being contacted by companies like Mike, I'm field testing, check me out. a wallet that's been sent to me from A-Slim of London. I did a review on one of these before. I guess I should put a link to one of those, whichever side it goes. Yeah, I got into this because of some unfortunate head issues that I've been having, and the reception that I've had is touching, and I genuinely appreciate it. So check me out on Facebook, Moreland EDC. Check me out on Instagram. I tend to be on Instagram a little bit more, Moreland EDC. Also on Patreon, if you check out Moreland EDC on Patreon, whatever patronage you help me with will go straight back into the channel. And by that I mean that I'm adding value to you. I want to start reviewing products that you want me to review at this moment in time. Apart from these ones that I'm purchasing, with deals with these people that are contacting me. All of these products are myself, are owned or purchased by myself. So through Patreon, that's what that will go to. It will go through to new amazing products that I can review. Thanks again. Stay safe. Stay Moreland. Stay EDC.